1037 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to 93.7 The Ticket. You are listening to Be On the Routine with Emma Spence. I'm your host, Emma Spence. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really prepare very much for this. Not that I prepare like a lot before going into my shows, but this week and last week have been super chaotic because it's finals week. So yeah, I'm just going to freestyle a little bit tonight. Yeah, first of all, Christmas is in 10 days. That is absolutely crazy. I honestly just realized that a little bit ago, like earlier today. Basically, yeah, so this week has been a lot of school. And even today, I was doing school until like 15 minutes ago, and then I just drove over here really quick because it's just that time of the year. Something exciting that's happened was on Friday, we had our December inter squad. So the Nebraska Gymnastics inter squad happened. This one was a little bit different than the one that we did in November because the November one we had two teams. So we did Scarlet versus Cream. But this one we just had one team, so 8 people on each event. Kind of narrowing down that lineup and giving the girls a feel for, I guess, how the things kind of work when season comes around, because season is in about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. Our first meet's the first week of January, so that's super exciting. But the inter squad went really well. The team was looking really good. We had some people show up to come watch. Honestly, so this was on Friday, and Friday, Devaney was like packed because there were the volleyball and nationals semifinals, I think. There was the men's gymnastics inter squad at the same time, and there was also, I believe, track had either like a meet or an inter squad. So Bob Devaney on Friday was packed, but it was nice because there were still some people that came to watch us. But the vibes were really good. The energy was really good from the team. It was just a really great way to kind of finish that up, because now this week is going to be very crazy with our training schedule because it's like official finals week. I don't know. For some reason, most of my like finals are like big assignments and papers. I actually have a lot of papers for my finals. I don't know why, but it's kind of annoying. I don't really like papers. But um I have a lot of them due tomorrow, which is, I don't know, finals week is like finals week. Why are they due Monday? But anyway, so I gotta lock in and do that tonight after this, like probably all night, because one of them is due tomorrow at lunchtime and I just started it today, which I guess is my fault, but I don't know. I do this thing that like I don't start my assignments or like big projects or anything in advance. Like I've known about these assignments for months, and like even our teachers in class are like, "Okay, like choose your topic," all this stuff like 2 months ago. Got my topic approved and everything, but I just never started it because I don't know. I feel like I do better under pressure with that kind of stuff. And it's not like I'm just going to have like, I don't know. I don't have much free time overall, but I feel like if I have free time, like I'm not just going to be like, oh, I'll do this assignment due in like a month. I don't know. That's me. But because of that, I end up having to really lock in and sit down and do like papers like in like 5 or 6 hours. But honestly, I don't mind it. I mean, if it really, really bothered me, I'd probably start sooner, but it's okay. I get it done. Usually it's good. So I'm probably just gonna end up sticking to that technique for now. But yeah, so I have a couple finals. Basically what they do for training for us is we have like training Monday to Friday, and basically we just sign up for kind of whatever time. The coaches want us to be there like minimum 3 times next week. So I think I'm gonna go in Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday because I have this big exam Wednesday night, and I need to lock in for that because I also haven't started studying for that. I was planning on doing it this weekend, but that never happened. Um, and then yeah, Friday is like a day off, I guess. I don't know. I just like getting Fridays off. I don't usually get that, so I was like, might as well do that. And then Saturday we have practice in the morning, and then we get to go home. So I'm really excited about that because I'm going to go home. I'm going back to Canada. Unfortunately, we only get like 5 days because we get back and basically have, like, 3 practices, and then we go to our first meet, which I think it's in Tennessee, which is super cool because 'cause I've never been there. Um, but yeah, I get to go home the 21st to the 26th. I'm looking forward to being at home, seeing my family, spending time together. I think that'll be really good and just, like, a nice little reset and kinda break before going into the season, because once the season starts, it gets very crazy. I mean, we're competing, like, I think it's, like, 12, 13 weekends in a row, um, and then on top of, like, school and practice, so it gets very chaotic, lots of traveling, um, packing, unpacking, flying, busing, all that kinda stuff, so it'll be a nice little break, and then hopefully I'll come in ready to get started, take on the season, the new semester, and it's actually gonna be my last semester, um, which is so crazy, and I guess my last season ever of gymnastics. I don't know if I've actually processed that yet, but yeah, in I guess, I don't know, like April-ish, I'll officially be done with gymnastics for my life, doing gymnastics. I don't know, maybe I'll do something related to gymnastics, like coaching or something on the side. I don't know though, I'm not even gonna I don't know. Um, but yeah, that would be really I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't think I've really processed it because it's something that I've done for so long. Like, I've done gym since I was 7 and now it's, like, the last year, but I'm looking forward to just embracing it, enjoying it, and just taking advantage of every opportunity because I don't know, like, even for the inner squad, for example, we were all getting ready in the locker room, and you have the choice to get ready at home, like, do your hair and makeup. If you don't know, we kinda go all out with that in gymnastics, so it takes a little bit of time. And doing that, it was just super fun doing that with, like, a group of girls all doing that together. Like, you can kinda choose to do it at the gym or not, but I was like, "You know what? This is gonna be, like, some of the last times I can ever get ready with this big group of girls." We have, like, makeup mirrors in our locker room, which is amazing. So we usually play music, we do our hair, do our makeup together, we help each other with all of that, and it's just super fun, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like I don't know when I'll ever find myself in an environment like that again in my life because I don't know. There's just a lot of us getting ready together, and I don't know, it's kinda like a girlhood thing, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a TikTok thing, and it's something that, like, it's just fun to do. I don't know. I like that, and I'm gonna miss doing that a lot, so I'm gonna be taking advantage of those moments, getting ready with the girls, spending time with the girls, because it's not just the gymnastics side of it, I think, that I'm going to miss because there's also going to be, like, the whole part of, like, being part of a team. Because once again, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess in jobs you can be part of a team, but I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna be the same. So I really just wanna be able to, like, take advantage and, embrace all of those opportunities. So, what I was thinking, I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about my, like, growth and, like, I don't know, journey from freshman year to now, the things that I've learned and experienced and kinda gone through and compare kinda, like, coming in as a freshman to now reflecting on, like, going into my last season, the things that I've learned, the things that I've gone through, it's been a journey, so kinda reflecting on that. So, basically, I know I've mentioned this before, but I don't know if everyone knows, but I came here in 2021. Um, I never actually planned really on doing NCAA until probably COVID happened around 2020 because my goal was always to make it to the Olympics. Especially in Canada, they don't have NCAA gymnastics, so it's not really like a big thing that people kind of work towards. It's getting more popular now, but for a while it wasn't really. So that was never something like I had in the back of my head. It was always more like focusing on the Olympics. But um yeah, during COVID I reached out to some coaches, kind of connected with the NCAA world because I was like, why not? Just because I was curious too. I had so much time on my hands, as you might as well kind of see what it's about. And yeah, I got connected to Nebraska. I didn't really reach out to any other schools. I honestly just, like, not knowing much about it, which I'm honestly glad I didn't because I know I made the right decision to come here. But I was just like, "Oh, like, I love everything they have to offer. They don't have anything like this in Canada, so I'm good with this decision," and I just went with it. Um, it was also interesting because of, like, the recruiting process, it was all during COVID, so I wasn't able to, like, visit anything. Like, most people get, like, an official visit, or I guess they visit multiple schools, but I didn't have that opportunity. I just was given some FaceTime tours, and that's kinda how I decided to come here. But once again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a fun story, and I know I made the right decision, so that was good. I can't remember if I went into this on another show or not, but basically, after not making the Olympics for, like, 2020, I guess it was moved to 2021, I was an alternate for the Olympics for Tokyo, and after that, I was in a, like, headspace of, like, really not liking gymnastics. I was just, I don't know, overtired, overworked, burnt out, sad. I mean, there was a whole wave of emotions that come with not making the Olympics and especially being that close, like training with the Olympic team up until they left. That was a crazy experience. And honestly, like by the end of that journey, I was at a point where I wasn't loving gymnastics anymore. And that was hard because the Olympics were that summer of 2021 and I came here in the fall of 2021. So I was very honest about this with my coaches because I just I don't know, I wanted to love it. I wanted to be able to enjoy that experience. So, I was honest about that with them. I was like, "I don't really want to like, I don't love gymnastics right now, but I wanna kinda learn how to." Again, I wanna fall in love with the sport again because it is something that I love, and especially seeing how things work with NCAA gymnastics. Like, once again, I never did it or really watched it. My first NCAA meet, like, attending one was when I was competing. Which is also kinda random, but just seeing videos, like, online, it just looked super fun, so I was like, "I wanna be able to get to that point where I can fully just enjoy the experience and be present and get the full NCAA experience," and honestly, I'm really glad that my coaches were very patient and honest and willing to work with me on that because it was a little bit of extra work that I needed to do to get to the point where I was able to compete, and yeah, just it was a little bit of extra challenges, and honestly, um, I don't know, I don't know, should I go into this? Yeah, I'll go into this a little bit. So, I talked about this with, Heather when she came on one of my shows, but basically growing up, I was in, like, kind of an abusive training environment, back in Canada. The club, the coaches, there was just a lot of stuff that was kinda normalized, and I guess is it's still kinda normalized, but I think we're transitioning out of that, in the sport of gymnastics, and I'm not gonna go into details about that because I just don't want to, but, that whole experience also really impacted how I felt about gymnastics. So, coming into here, I was also very vulnerable about that with the coaches, and like I shared on my podcast with Heather, she's been through very similar things, which was really helpful because I had someone that I can relate to and connect with, and she could understand those, like, struggles that I was going through, and that was really helpful, in a lot of ways because I kinda had to relearn what it was like and be comfortable training in a healthy environment because, yeah, the environment that I grew up in, the gym was not the best, and it was just, like, the littlest things. Like, they would tell me, like, here at Nebraska, they're like, "Oh, like, did you eat lunch before practice?" I was like, "Oh, like, you actually want me to eat lunch?" Like, I used to be told that I wasn't allowed to and stuff like that, so it was just very different, but it was a really good, um, change, and it was a change that was needed because if I didn't adapt or accept these new, healthier ways of being, I wouldn't have been able to perform and get to where I'm at now, but yeah, it's crazy looking back because I was taught from such a young age that there were so many things that you need to do to be a great gymnast, and I believe them because that's what everyone says to do. But when I came to NCAA, it's like, "Oh, like, you should be fueling yourself, you should be taking care of your mental health, you should be eating, you should be sleeping," and all of these things that were kinda just, like, pushed off to the side. It's like, it doesn't matter what your lifestyle looks like unless your gymnastics is, like, perfect, and that was, like, all that we were focusing on growing up. It's like, gymnastics has to be good, you have to look good, you have to basically do whatever the coaches say, And here, coming to an environment where the coaches really prioritized your like, yourself, you as a person, and that was one thing that they said a lot was, like, "We don't even really care about your gymnastics right now," and especially when I first got here, they like, "We just want you to be mentally healthy. We want you to be taking care of yourself and eating." Coming from, like, background of a lot of disordered eating, that was something I honestly still work work on to this day. It comes in waves, but that was probably the biggest change. But the coaches were really, um, accepting, I guess, and, uh, really open to helping me with that, and I'm so glad that they did because that change and going through all that was probably a lot for them. Not that I was stubborn, but I was just so used to one thing that when all of a sudden it's like just like it sounds probably so ridiculous, but it's like eating breakfast and eating lunch before practice. Like I thought I could not do a good routine or I could not perform if I did that. And I got so mental about it. And it sounds so crazy talking about it now because now I know that's not true, but it was so engraved in me that like that wasn't the way that you should do it. Um so yeah, huge shout out to my coaches. They've been really helpful and very yeah, very helpful. Very grateful for them. Um, but yeah, honestly, like, I don't know, I talk about that kind of stuff and I don't ever really go in depth about it, but I just don't think it's worth kind of focusing on all of the like struggling side of it because in the end that's kind of not like it's important to mention the things that you go through, I feel like, but it's more like how you handle it and how you go through that afterwards. And I feel like that's kinda how I focus on it now. It's like I'm proud of myself for being able to get out of those situations and getting out of, like, that mindset and those habits because now I've grown up, I guess, and I just know that, like, that's not okay, and that's not a way to train and be if I want to be at my best. But overall, those situations, I guess, I would say have, like, really taught me to be confident, stand up for myself, um, and kinda just ask questions. Another thing I was gonna mention, my brain's all over the place because I keep thinking about school right now. Oh my gosh. Um, but I guess another thing that's come out of this is I kinda also learned how to advocate and stand up for others. I'm part of a lot of different committees now, regarding, like, safe sport and athlete advocacy and just safety in sport, especially related to gymnastics, but I am in a committee in Canada that's for, like, all sports as well. So, being a part of that, I guess, is kinda how I moved forward and moved through those experiences because, um, yeah, rather than just sitting around and thinking about the I don't know how to word it, like, abusive environment that I grew up in the gym, I'm more kinda, like, shifted it to, like, how can I use this to either prevent it from happening to other people or raise awareness about it? I don't know. I'm going on a completely different tangent than I thought I was gonna talk about, but that's okay. Um, Because I don't know, I feel like personally, like, going through when I was going through all that, once again, it's common in the gymnastics world, and it's very unfortunate, but what helped me kinda get out of that situation or just help me when I was in that situation was hearing about what other girls were going through at the time. And this was around when the Me Too movement started, which is around COVID. And hearing other girls sharing their stories about kind of being in similar training environments than I was in, I was just like, oh, like this isn't okay. And um that kind of made me realize like I needed to either do something about it or I need to get myself out of that situation. And I don't know, a lot of people aren't in a place where they can get themselves out of that situation. So I'm proud of myself for being able to do that, but then also using that knowledge and that information to help prevent it from happening to other people. And those are like the main reasons why I ended up joining all these committees. And I've learned a lot through doing that as well. Like learning about even how policies and stuff are made around safe sport is so interesting because I was like, oh, like I don't know, because sometimes I'd be like, "Oh, it doesn't make sense," but it's like, oh, when they make these policies, they don't have the intention that this is gonna happen, so they don't have, like, a way to resolve it or whatever, and it's just like helping reshape and remodel the way that these issues are handled has been very fulfilling and kind of healing for me. And I don't know, something that I like to do. I'm in a couple of those kind of committees, and so far I really enjoy it. Um, but yeah, overall, just kind of finishing off that tangent. I feel like I'm a better person because of those experiences, and I don't just want to sit around and talk about how they sucked because they were a long time ago, and I've learned a lot from them, and I want to continue doing things to prevent that from happening to others, but also just changing the culture in general, especially in gymnastics. And I feel like I can also help my teammates going through that kind of stuff, especially being in like the Gymnastics Canada athlete rep position right now. I feel like I can use those experiences and help the next generation of gymnasts, especially in Canada, to make sure that they don't end up going through something like that. Or if they do, they know the resources and how to get out of that kind of stuff, which I think is also very helpful because that's kind of what I needed at the time. I wasn't really aware of the resources and I just completely felt stuck. And I empathize with the girls that feel that way because it sucks and it's really hard because yeah, gymnastics is such a crazy sport, and luckily I do believe that the culture is changing. Um yeah, I think it is changing. It's just going to take some time and it's going to take a lot of relearning and understanding and more scientific based coaching methods rather than just old school like what people believe, especially like the Russian mm, area. I don't know. All of those people, those coaches are kind of crazy. But um yeah, just kind of relearning, re-understanding, and I think by doing that and holding people accountable and people being willing to learn and do better and support their athletes better is really going to help rebuild that and create a better environment. So hopefully in the future, like it's just not an issue anymore. I mean, I'm sure there will be some cases here and there, but for a while it was a very very common issue in the gymnastics world. Like everybody, even Heather talking about it with me, like it's something that basically every gymnast has experienced, which is so crazy. So if we can get to a point where it's not like that anymore, um, that would just be amazing. But I don't know. It also depends on kind of like where it is in the world, but I don't know. That would be amazing. That was a completely different thing that I was going to talk about. So the next segment is going to be about my freshman to senior year transition. We are heading on to our first break. You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Spence.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CRF-R Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CRF Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CRF 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today. Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I'm your host, Emma Spence. Tonight I am going solo, and I just went on this long tangent about kind of my past gymnastics experience before coming here and how that's kind of helped me navigate some spaces of me being here now. But I wanted to talk about this before, but I went off on a different thing. So this segment, I am going to talk about kind of that growth and things that I've noticed or have changed in myself, and yeah, since being here as a freshman to now. So it's crazy because if you told me when I came in as a freshman that eventually I would be doing like my own like radio show, I would be like, absolutely not. I was super, super shy and quiet. Like I've done quite a few like interviews and stuff before coming here. So, like, I could talk about that, but it was more just, like, questions about myself, and I would still get super nervous talking about that stuff, and same thing with, like, school presentations, like, I hated going in front of the class and, like, giving a presentation or anything kinda public speaking because I was just so scared that people were gonna, like, judge me and stuff, but I don't know, I've kinda gone out or grown from that, and now I'm at the point where, like, sometimes teachers be like, you either, like, write a paper or you give a presentation, like, I will give a presentation over writing anything at this point because it's just, like, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with that, which is why I got to the point where I can do my own radio show, but so that is something that's been, like, a crazy difference, like, I was literally I wouldn't really talk to my team or my roommates or anything. Especially the first semester as a freshman. Once I was, like, 2nd semester, I started making more friends, connecting with other people, and just meeting new people, and I started to come out of my shell a little bit, but, like, freshman year, I was super, super quiet, um, and yeah, that's changed. But I don't know, I feel like if I think about it, like, it does make sense. I came to a new country. I didn't know anybody when I came here. I literally I never visited or anything. So I literally just kind of moved to Nebraska, which is literally in the middle of the United States. Especially coming out from COVID, like during the COVID pandemic, everyone was kind of locked in their house and I was with my family that whole time. So I went from being with my family basically 24/7 to moving to a different country without anyone. So that transition probably impacted it a little bit as well, but that was crazy. Um, yeah, that whole experience. Anyways, so there was that. I would say that probably impacted it. Um, I don't know. I was just there was a lot of things that were different. I feel like I was just very confused. Like, not that I don't know. Some of my teammates and I joke around that I just get very confused a lot, which is true. I think I just don't pay attention. And then all of a sudden I just realize I wasn't. And then it's too late. And I don't know, for example, if we're like giving one of the coaches gives us like an assignment at the gym and they like explain everything, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then I walk away and I'm like, wait, what? What did they say? Um, I think that's another issue though. I think I just, yeah. Um, But yeah, so adapting to all that, I'd say was very different. And same thing with like American norms, like cultural norms, different things that people would say. Like this sounds like it's so easy and like, but like this really confused me. So you know how like Americans walk by each other and they just say like "What's up," and then the other person says like "What's up," and then they keep walking. Well, for the longest time, people would be like, "What's up?" And then I would like start talking about like what's going on in my life, and they're just like walking. Like I didn't realize that like "What's up" is like just like saying "Hey." I don't know. So like I'd be walking around and people would be like, "What's up?" And then I start talking. They're literally like walking by, and I'm just like, took me a while to figure that one out. That people just say like "What's up," and then I just say like "What's up" back, and then you just keep walking. That confused me a little bit, but see, like that's just like a random example, but that's one of the first things that come to mind because I was just like, "Wait, what?" Um, the stores being different, restaurants, grocery store names. Like, the biggest thing, honestly, with, like, stores being different was, like, the names of the stores because I didn't know what the store, like, was. Like, if I heard, like, Hy-Vee, I had no idea what that was. Like, if it was a clothing store, I mean, it's a grocery store, but I don't know, I just didn't really know what the names were. So, like, there was just so many things that I had to get used to. I think also that probably impacted that, but yeah, freshman year was crazy. Um But gymnastics okay, actually, yeah, going back to, like, not loving gymnastics and then all of a sudden getting to a point where I did, I think that transition, um, getting closer with my coaches and getting help from other people. So I started meeting with, like, the nutritionist for, like, the eating issues that I kind of brought over here, from my past and, like, the mental health stuff that I was going through and meeting with sports psych, like, every week my freshman year because there were just so many changes and I needed some support to kinda navigate that. Um, so having all of that was good, but I feel like I was in a place where I didn't feel like I could reach out because I saw that almost, like, as a weakness, and now I'm, like, so open about it. I'm like, "Yeah, I meet with, like, the nutritionist almost every week still, like, for check-ins, I meet with sports psych, like, every week." And now I'm, like, fully, like, embracing that I'm taking advantage of these resources, but freshman year, I was like, I wasn't sure if people would think it's like a bad thing or if it's weird. And yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, I was also like scared to reach out and ask for help because I didn't want people to think that like, oh, like she's really struggling, she needs this. But it's like, no, sometimes you can go and like reach for these resources and use and take advantage of these resources, even if you're not like super, super struggling, because sometimes it's also like a maintenance thing. So for me, like the eating stuff, like it's more just like routinely check-ins at this point, making sure I'm staying on track, having someone like now, Lisa's our nutritionist. I have a pretty good relationship with Lisa because I've been seeing her for the last 4 years. So it's also just like having someone else that you can talk to and confide in and just have someone there to support you if you need. And I now see that as a strength. At the beginning when I came here, I saw it more as a weakness. Um, Especially like little things like that. Like not everyone on my team needed to do that. So I was just like felt a little bit awkward about being the only one that needed these extra resources and things for help. But now I realize that I probably, well, first of all, wouldn't be where I am right now if it weren't for that. It weren't for the people that have supported me and those extra resources on the side that I've been able to have access to. But also just, yeah, it's just been good for me. I don't know. I feel like there's this like thing about asking for help, like mental health, physical help, like all these things is just like not as like open and normalized, I guess, in the sporting world. But I don't know, it should be. It's so helpful. Like I'm sure there's some people that probably don't think it is, but personally, after the things that I was going through, especially when I got here, and then as I've been here, the ups and downs of being an athlete and a student, there's just I don't know. I needed to take advantage of the resources and I found them to be very helpful for me. So I'm very glad that I did. Um One thing that I kind of thought about was I feel like I don't know. There's this thing. Well, there's so many ways I can go about this. So I feel like because of the environment that I grew up in the gym, I had to kind of like grow up like fast and like at a young age because I was going through things that like a regular person my age wouldn't have to be going through. So because of that, um, and I guess like traveling around the world at a young age, I kind of went through that probably on another show. Traveling internationally, competing for Canada, all these things, and like being the oldest sibling in my family, I just felt like I was in a different kind of headspace as a lot of other people. Coming in as a freshman, which was a little bit different, and I don't even know how to like fully explain it, but it's just like a lot of people, it was their first time moving away from home and being away and like being a new environment, but I was, like, traveling around the world doing kinda things like this, not the same, but, like, living different experiences all throughout growing up from, like, 13 years old all the way to when I first got to college, so for me, it wasn't, like, that big of not that it wasn't that big of a change because there were different changes, but I don't know, I just felt like I was in a different headspace and a little bit more mature than other people coming in, and that was a little bit different, and I'm not even talking about, like, my team, I'm just talking about, like, in general, like, in classrooms, for example, as a freshman, it was just, like, different. Like, you could tell, like, this was some people's, like, first time being away from home, and for me, I was just like that wasn't as much the challenge, it was more like the mental health side of it, but, like, I was still able to be, like, mature and responsible, and, like, I knew kinda how to take care of myself on my own. So that was one part, I guess, about my freshman year that was different, and because of that, like, if I went out and hung out with people or, like, parties and stuff, it was just, like, that part I could feel there was a little bit of a difference because I kinda, like it was more like, I don't know. I guess another thing, I don't know if yeah, I'll just say it. The, like, drinking age is different in, Canada versus the US, so, like, I was legal back home, so it's like, I don't know, just understanding certain things that, like, younger Americans probably just didn't get the chance to experience before coming to college is just different. Um, but yeah, I'd say those are, like, the main things coming in. I was just in such a different headspace, it's crazy, and I just feel like I didn't really know how, like, the whole NCAA system itself worked, and honestly, I still don't know if I fully do. I feel like it's kinda confusing, especially in the gymnastics world, like, there's still things because I never grew up in a country that had NCAA gymnastics, I didn't, like, fully know how it worked compared to even some freshmen and like sophomores on my team right now probably know more facts about NCAA because they grew up watching it than I do. So like there's still things there that kind of confuse me, but over the years I've kind of understood more how that works, and like now I'm just like if I have a question, I'll just ask. At first I thought it was like embarrassing having to ask these like basic questions about I don't know, gymnastics meets and just all these things that like most people do know, but I just didn't know. So that was that. I don't know. I guess now, um, I've been like a team captain on my team for a few years, so I've kind of went from like being that shy and like more quiet freshman to being one of the leaders on the team. Which, um, once again, not that I didn't expect myself to be in that situation, but I would have been really, really nervous to be put in that situation a couple years ago. But now I feel like I've gone through things and I've made good connections with people on the team, and I just understand kind of how the whole culture of gymnastics in the NCAA works. And I feel um like that those experiences that I've gone through have kind of helped me get to a point where I can be in that kind of position. So that journey has been interesting. I feel like now I'm definitely at a point where like I'm not really afraid to speak my mind anymore. That was something that I was like so nervous about because I was like, oh, what if someone's gonna think the opposite or someone's gonna think something different? Like if the coach like we'd have like these like meetings and if she asked me a question, like I would or ask the team a question, I would never be the one to put my hand up because I was like, what if I say the wrong thing or what if I say something and they're gonna laugh at me? And now I'm at a point where like I feel comfortable just like saying what I think when I'm in a situation like that. Another thing is, like, being able to ask for help, like I mentioned before, if I'm struggling or if I know I'm about to struggle, like, especially finals week, for example, like, I'm meeting with the psychologist, I'm meeting with the nutritionist, and I'm not ashamed to say it because I know that that's what I need to support myself and be at my best. So, those are, kinda little examples, I guess, that I've noticed. I'll maybe go into it a little bit more in the next one. But yeah, that's the end of this segment. We'll be back after the break. You're listening to Beyond the Routine with Spence.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First Five Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $395 per month, lease for 36 months with proof credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to assigning, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See delivery details.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA fighters on Saturday, December 7th with Violence Fight League 2 at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now is the perfect time to go, with Nebraska football in between the regular season and a bowl game. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CRF-R Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CRF Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CRF 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I'm your host, Emma Spence. And to finish off kind of what I was talking about before, kind of the things that I've learned, like as my journey from my journey here. I don't know how to word that. And just being a senior now, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I'm a lot more outgoing. I'm a lot better at networking. I enjoy networking. I used to hate doing that. I really enjoy like making connections and getting to know different people. And public speaking, I feel like I never really liked public speaking, but now I actually really enjoy it, and I feel a lot more confident in that. And I think that's huge growth because I absolutely did not like it before. I feel like another thing, so this is just, I don't know if this is actually true, but this is kind of my theory. I feel like, so I used to think like people will judge you if you're struggling, and people will, yeah, just judge you when you're struggling. I used to think that was like a thing, but now I feel like sometimes people judge you more if you don't struggle. And that's kind of something that I've noticed in my journey here. It's like, if you like seem like everything, like you got everything together all the time, like people will almost like judge you for that. And that's not the case. Like there's no one that just goes through life and like knows everything that they're doing, got it together all the time. that's just kind of not how it works. So I've noticed that by being more like open and vulnerable with the people that I'm close with or my teammates or some friends kind of brings me closer to those people. That was something that I kind of used to be or kind of like shy away from, I guess, is having those vulnerable and like open conversations with people. But it's like if I don't do that, it makes it a lot harder to connect with other people because everyone is going through something, everyone is struggling. And if you're able to have those honest and vulnerable conversations, it first of all, it opens and creates a space for other people to do the same, which is very helpful. But it also just bridges that like gap and like builds a connection that I don't know, it just strengthens relationships, I find. And that's something that I never really would do because I thought that people would like more judge me for it. But now um I love having like vulnerable, real conversations with people because it just brings like such a deeper and closer connection with those people, which I think has just been super special. And one of the biggest takeaways, I guess, is not being afraid to share or talk about the hardships and the things that you're going through because it does help the people around you one way or another by either making them feel more comfortable or allowing them to also share and be vulnerable about what they're experiencing. Yeah, that's probably like a big takeaway. I don't know if that happens or everyone else feels that way too, but that's something that I feel creating that space for other people is so meaningful and special for me. And that's something that I work towards now every day with my close relationships. So, to wrap this up, we only have a couple minutes left. I want to talk about some of the things that I do to kind of take care of my mental health during season because I'm going to need to start thinking about that with season right around the corner. So, I think one thing that I've really noticed has been really helpful during season is I don't know if it sounds crazy, but spending time without my teammates. Um, we're together all the time in the gym, traveling, eating, working out, literally everything. We spend all of our time together. And sometimes during season, like it can just be super overwhelming to be around the same people for that long, that many weeks in a row. So something that's helped me is like make sure I'm spending time with other people as well. Um, it gives different perspectives on things. You talk about different things other than just sports or gymnastics or whatever that may be. And it just I don't know, I like I guess networking, but like expanding my connections and relationships with other people, especially during season, because then I'm not just like locked in thinking about just gymnastics. One thing about me is if I overthink and I'm only thinking about gymnastics, I kind of go crazy. And um it's just too much for me. So especially during season, I try to not think about gymnastics as much as I can. Once again, everyone probably has different strategies, but for me, if I'm sitting at home thinking about gymnastics or trying to fall asleep and I just start thinking about gymnastics, that doesn't usually end well because then I'm forcing things and doing things that my, I don't know, just naturally shouldn't think about that. I don't know. That's personally me though. So that's one thing, making sure I'm doing things and socializing with people that aren't just related to gymnastics. So one thing I like to do is like kind of find little hobbies. I haven't found one that like sticks. Like, you know how people are like, what's your hobby? Like, I don't have like a hobby, but I like doing little things. So like puzzles, coloring books, cooking, baking. I really like cleaning. I don't know if that's a hobby, but I like organizing and cleaning things. That kind of calms me down when I'm overwhelmed and stressed. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's just the only thing that I can control in my life. So clean my room like a lot. Um, that's good though. And I guess focusing on school. I mean, I don't love school, but it's just something that I do. I don't really hate it. Sometimes I do though, but overall, like it's school is school. So focusing on that. Um, yeah, those are overall, I guess, like the main things that I do. I think connecting with friends and family is very helpful, especially for me being away from home. I don't get to see my family too often at meets. So being able to talk and call my family after competitions are done is usually pretty helpful. Because usually like parents come up to the kids, like the other gymnasts after the meets, and because my parents live far away, they don't, like I don't get to kind of experience that. So I just make sure to call them afterwards, and that usually makes me feel better about that. Except this year, I will see my parents a little bit more because it's my senior year. They said they'd be coming to more meets, and we have a couple of meets. Usually, like the Michigan meets, they're a lot closer to home, so my parents go to those. So we have 2 meets in Michigan, so I get to see them 2 of those meets as well, like senior night. I think there's like 3 or 4 meets they were gonna try and go to. So that's super exciting because it's hard for them to get down here, especially with their work schedule and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. That's definitely going to help my mental health during season. Other things that are important for me to focus on is sleep and nutrition. I definitely would say that I struggle with those. I don't know. Especially this week, like I have not been sleeping on time because I've just been doing schoolwork late at night because I procrastinate and then I start doing my assignment really late and then I have to do it until like 1 a.m. But can't complain. It's my own fault. I do it to myself, so it's fine. That's the phase that I'm in right now. But making sure that when I can, especially during season, make sure that I'm sleeping enough because that will help with recovery. Eating helps with recovery and fueling and having enough energy during season. And then making sure, I guess, I'm using those resources like I mentioned before, mental health, nutrition support, um, taking advantage of all of that. And I think this year I'm gonna have a new energy to this season, I feel like, because I'm just looking forward to embracing and enjoying every opportunity. So I'm gonna be making sure to focus on that and yeah, just enjoy this experience. I'm really looking forward to it. Um, yeah. On that note, that's the end of tonight's show. Thank you for listening. This was Beyond the Routine with Spence.